Hi everyone, this is Sharan here. Welcome to my channel. Today in this video, we are going to see about how to get started on Kaggle as well as how to make the best use of this particular platform. Kaggle is obviously one of the most popular platform for data scientists. It has more than 5 million registered users. It has much more than the competitions today. When I started using Kaggle like almost 10 years back, it used to be very simple. There used to be 1 or 2 active competitions at any point in time. Each competitions used to have a discussion forums where people used to discuss about the things that are working good and not working good, various data quality issues, like how to solve those issues, and what are all the various techniques that could help in improving the performance of the model. Things were quite similar. There were a lot of learnings, but now Kaggle has grown huge. It is not just a platform for competitions. It is much more than that. There are various courses available on Kaggle. You can earn certifications for free. There is kernel, there is public data sets that are available, there are various notebooks that people can share with everyone, and it is a huge platform. For someone who is getting started on data science, it can be very difficult to exactly understand like how to best use this particular platform. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to exactly tell you how to get started on this particular platform and how to make the best use of this particular platform, like how you can maximize your learning of data science using this platform. Before getting into the topic, in this video I'll be providing you various references as well as notebook. The link to all of those will be provided in the description, so you just make sure that you watch till the end of this video because I will be providing you tips as we progress through the video. So now coming to the first topic. So Kaggle is no longer a platform just for competitions. Like you don't use Kaggle to just participate in competition. So Kaggle is also a platform where you can learn various things about data science, like various topics about data science. There are few courses that can be very helpful, especially if you are starting with your data science journey. So I'm going to tell you the top 5 courses which are very helpful, which you need to go through those courses before actually getting started with data science, before trying to attempt on any competitions or before trying to attempt solving any data science problem. It will be best if you can go through all these 5 courses, which helps you to understand the basic concepts much better. So let's go into the topic. What are all the 5 basic courses that are really helpful in order to get started into data science? The number 1 is the Python course. So the Python course on Kaggle platform is quite simple. It is a 5-hour course which has 8 modules. It covers all the basic concepts, the foundational concepts of Python that are required for data science. It doesn't get into the details of Python programming as such, but it will just focus on how much of Python is required for data science and what you should know in order to become a good data scientist. So I would strongly recommend this particular course. After going through this particular course, if you feel that you need to still improve on your Python programming skills, then there are few references. I will provide the link to Codecademy as well as Coursera. Those courses can be very helpful. If you still believe that you don't have the ability to code, then check out my video in the top. It has an detailed approach about learning to code. So anyone can learn to code. The only thing that matters the most is, are you learning in the proper way? So are you following the right method? So if you check that video which I'm attaching on the top, it will exactly show you how to learn to code. So for people who are coming from non-technology background, people who are coming from non-technology and non-programming background, it will be very helpful for you to understand how to learn to code. The second course is the course on Pandas library. So it is a short course as well as it is a 4-hour course. Pandas is one of the most frequently used library in Python. It helps in structuring the data so that it is useful and it is easier for you to do the data analysis and data exploration. So in any data science problem, it is very important for you to perform a very good data analysis, and the Pandas is one of the most important library that helps to structure the data in such a way that helps you to perform all the analysis as easy as possible. The third important course that you need to go through is about data cleaning. I will be providing the link to all of these courses in the description, so don't worry about it. The common concepts in data cleaning are like the inconsistency in the data. So when the data are being pulled from multiple sources, that it is common to have many inconsistencies. So it is important for you to understand like how to solve those inconsistency. Outliers is again a common problem. Like there will be various attributes which will have a lot of outliers. Missing data is another problem. There will be a lot of missing data in real life scenario. Especially there will be a lot of missing data if you are handling with the sensor data. So again there will be a lot of missing data. You need to exactly understand like how to best replace those missing data. You can't always just ignore all those missing data. Like it won't be an efficient method. So you need to understand what are all the best ways to efficiently handle the missing data, and how to handle like various attributes that are present in different scales. For example, if you have an attribute called as an age which is present in years, so which will be usually within the range of, let's say, 0 to 100, and there is another attribute called as salary which is in hundreds of thousands. So these two attributes are in totally different scales. So there are certain algorithms which requires the attributes to be in a consistent scale. So what are all the various techniques that can be used in order to handle the attributes that are of different scales? So this is the most important course as well. You need to understand what are all the different data cleaning techniques. You'll be learning all these in this particular course. The fourth one is about data visualization. Like in any data science problem, it is important for you to come up with the best visualization. So our brains are wired in such a way that it is very easy to extract the information from a visual data. Rather than like having a tabular data or like having a huge paragraph. So like learning to build a good visualization helps you to represent the data, represent your insights in the best possible way. So whenever you have meetings with the business stakeholders, it is very good to use the most appropriate visualization techniques. So in this visualization course, you will be learning about the best visualization techniques and how to go ahead with it. And the final fifth course is Introduction to the ML. So here in this course, it doesn't go into the details of how the models are built or what are all the various models that perform well. So it will be focusing on like coming up with a pipeline to build the data science project. What are all the various phases of a data science project? Like when you start, what you do, and when you collect your data, like how do you clean it, how do you transform it, how do you process it, how do you make sure that it is ready for building a model, like after building the model, like how do you evaluate it. So it will take you through the various phases of a data science project. So these are all the 5 courses that are very important for you to start off with. So after going through the foundational concepts, so next comes the data analysis. Like you need to do more data analysis, more data exploration. That is very important for a data scientist. No matter what data science course that you are studying, like it can be Andrew Ng's machine learning course or any world's best machine learning course, they don't teach you how to do the data analysis. Learning data analysis comes only with experience. You need to like work on various projects. You need to work on more data sets in order to understand what are all the various techniques, the best techniques in order to do a proper data analysis. There are of course few places in Kaggle which teaches you exactly how to do a proper data exploration or data analysis. There are very few like notebooks which exactly explains in detail like for different types of data how best to do the data analysis, what are all the techniques that works well, what are all the techniques that might not work well. I will provide link to some of those notebooks. So in any data science project, it is very important for you to understand the data to the best extent. You need to understand the problem so that you are able to come up with the best solution. So in order to understand the problem to the best extent, you need to do a proper data analysis. So performing data analysis is exactly not a difficult thing to do. It is actually the most easiest thing. The only thing is like doing data analysis takes a lot of time. So what happens is many people, they try to move on to the next step in haste. They don't want to spend too much time in doing the data analysis. They just want to get into the algorithm part. They want to focus on building the best algorithm. So that is an exact recipe for a huge disaster. One technique that helps me a lot personally in order to do a proper data analysis is the first principles thinking. When you use first principles thinking, what you try to do is you try to break down a problem to multiple parts, like until those problem cannot be further divided into any fundamental parts. If you want to understand like how to make use of first principles thinking in solving a data science problem, I will provide a link to one of my articles, so you can go through it and exactly understand how this mental model, first principles thinking, are useful in order to solve a data science problem. It is really a very good technique that helps in understanding a particular problem to an best extent. It will help you in asking more questions, which is actually very important when you solve a data science problem. So the next step is getting into the competition. Before actually focusing on getting your hands dirty with a real competition, what I would strongly recommend is going through 2 more courses. So the first one is an intermediate course on ML, which exactly teaches you the pipeline in a data science project in much more deeper way. The next one is about feature engineering, which exactly tells you about what are all the various feature engineering techniques, how to transform the various features depending upon the dataset as well as the algorithm, how to create new features, how to reduce the number of features, what are all the various techniques for each one of them, what are all the concepts behind each one of them. So these 2 courses will exactly help you to understand the pipeline in detail as well as feature engineering, which actually plays an important role when it comes to improving the performance of a model. So after completing these 2 courses, what you can do is you can try to focus on the various types of data science problem. You can maybe try to focus on regression, classification, clustering, NLP, computer vision. What you can do is you can pick a data set for each of these problems and then try to pick a notebook which has already the solution for those types of problem, and then understand how these various data science problems are being solved. What are all the various approaches that are being used? Is there any standard steps for each one of those problems? So for example, if I take a clustering as an example, what are all the various steps that are followed in solving a clustering problem? So if I take NLP, what are all the standard steps that are followed in order to solve an NLP problem? Similarly, like how to solve a computer vision problem, right? How to collect the data, how to transform the data, how to efficiently process the data, what type of algorithms can be used, how to produce the best results, how to tweak the results in order to improve the performance. So you will be able to understand all these by picking one very good notebook for each of these data science problems. So what I will do is I have done a good analysis and I have picked a few notebooks that has like a comprehensive amount of information for each of those problem types, and it also has very good comments in order to help you to learn those concepts better. So I will provide the link for all those notebooks for each of those problems, which is regression, classification, clustering, NLP, and computer vision, in the description. So if you want to learn about any of these problems in detail, you can use these notebooks as a reference. So all these notebooks are like documented very well. It has the comments and it has structured in an proper way that helps you to understand these concepts much better. The next one is what are all the different category of competitions that are hosted on Kaggle platform. The most important category is the featured competition. So featured competition are those which has a heavy prize amount. These are all the competition that attracts the highly talented data scientists from all over the world. So these competition will be very helpful for you to learn from the best data scientists around the world. The discussion forums of these competitions are like a gold mine. They have so much of information about like for what type of data, what kind of algorithm should be used, for what type of data, like what kind of transformation techniques can be used, what are all the various methods that helps in improving the performance of the model, what are all the various algorithm that works best for what kind of problems. So there are so many things that you can learn from these competition. The next one is the getting started competition. So getting started competition is kind of like a learning environment where you can use some of these competitions in order to learn about data science. What are all the standard techniques that are used in order to solve a data science problem. So these competitions are doesn't have an price amount, but these are all very good for you to learn about the algorithms. So especially if you are learning data science, this should be your first step. Like instead of going directly to a featured competition, you must first make use of the getting started category to learn about solving data science problem, like approaching and competition, and then you can go to the real competition, like which has an prize money. The next category is research competition. So research competitions are generally as difficult as a featured competition, but they do not have an prize amount. I often feel like the research competition are very similar to real world competition because of the lack of clarity. So these research competition will not have a very structured approach like to solve it. It's kind of like generally open, and then it's up to the users who are participating to come up with the best solution for them. So these are all the various major categories of competition, and then in most of the competitions they are like either one step or two step. One step competitions are like the data sets, everything will be provided in the first row, so you need to use the data set, come up with the submission based on which you will be evaluated, and then the winner will be selected. A two-step competition is those where initially a dataset would be provided, so you need to provide an algorithm which proves to be like working best. So after that, what happens is the users who have been shortlisted will be provided a new set of data, and then the same algorithm which they have selected should be used in order to see how best they perform on the new data. So whoever comes on the top based on the new data, so they will emerge as a winner. So these are all the various types of competition, as well as how usually the competitions are hosted on Kaggle. So you can, if you are studying data science, like to start with the getting started category, and once you gain some confidence, then you definitely need to move into the research competitions as well as featured competition. So now coming to the final part, how to make the best use of Kaggle platform. So Kaggle is a platform like which is definitely not should be seen as a platform to earn money. So there are of course many competition which has a huge price tag attached to it, like $100,000, like even 1 million. Your focus should be to learn it as much as possible by solving various competition, by attempting to participate in those competition. So your focus should be on learning, like what you are trying to learn. Some of the learning that can come from Kaggle are like what are all the various algorithms that are generally used to solve a particular problem. For what type of data set, what kind of algorithm should be used, like depending upon the types of data, like what kind of analysis should be performed, what are all the different visualization techniques that helps in bringing out the insights out of the data. So there are various things that you can definitely learn from Kaggle. So your focus should be on those things that you can learn from Kaggle. The next one is learning from others. There are like various other people who are on the platform. There are like more than 5 million people who have registered on Kaggle. There are a lot of experienced data scientists, like the world's best data scientists, like many of them use Kaggle. So you try to use it as an opportunity to learn from them. Like you can go through their profile, see the various submissions, like how they are trying to approach a particular problem, how they write the scripts. You can try to learn from some of the leading data scientists out there. That helps a lot in order to improve you as a data scientist. The next one is learning from the past competition. So there are various competitions, and the solutions for most of those past competition would be still available. What you can try to do is you can try to make use of those solutions that previously won some competitions, and you can try to like convert those into a template. We can try to make use of these templates in order to solve any new problems, to see like how best they are performing, like what kind of tweaks are required to them. So this will be very useful for you to like create templates for various types of problems. So when you approach or when you try to solve a real world data set, you can of course try to make use of these templates and then see how it is going. It will be very useful for you to fast track your approaches. And then the final part is trying to learn as much as possible from the discussion forums. So discussion forums are like hugely like undervalued. It has so much of information in there. A lot of discussions happens about the data set, about the competition, about the different types of data, about the various issues with the data, about the various techniques that helps in improving the performance of the model, about various techniques that helps in best evaluating the model. So these discussion forums, if you are very keen in learning new things, you need to follow the discussion forums and then try to understand what are all the various things that you can learn from others. So these are all the various things that helps you to learn from Kaggle. So again, like I have seen many people trying to point out that Kaggle is not close enough to a real world data science problem. Of course, yes, Kaggle is not a real world data science problem. Like it is not a platform to work on real world data science problem. Like you are provided with a data set. What you need to understand is you need to understand like in Kaggle there are so many things that you can learn as a data scientist which can be used on approaching a real world data set, on a real world problem. So you need to focus on like what you can learn from this. It is also important to understand what you won't be learning by using Kaggle. it is good to understand about it so that you can focus about all those areas in like some other means. For example, in any data science project, there will be a lot of focus on collecting the data from different sources, whereas in Kaggle, the dataset is readily provided to you. In many real life data science problems, there will be a lot of focus on data cleaning, whereas in most of the Kaggle computation, the data is provided in a much more cleaner format. You don't require much cleaning the data set, like it will be almost ready to use in most of the computations. So you don't get to learn about like different techniques that are used in order to do proper data cleaning. In Kaggle computation, the focus is mostly on the accuracy of the model, like accuracy of the solution that you are providing. Whereas in many real life problems, the focus is not always on the accuracy. There are many other things that needs to be focused on. For example, if I take a Netflix computation, which was a huge computation, the prize money was 1 million. The winning solution had a better accuracy than the actual model used by Netflix. But Netflix did not go ahead with the winning solution. They never used the winning solution. The reason is the engineering cost involved in implementing the Kaggle solution was much higher than the incremental benefit produced by it. So it was making no sense for them to increase their engineering cost in order to incorporate this particular solution for just like a few incremental benefit offered by it. So like similar to this one, in many real life problems, like there are multiple factors, like the accuracy of the model is not always the number one priority. There are like so many other things that needs to be focused on. So if you are using Kaggle, like you need to understand there are so many other things that you can learn using this particular platform, and there are also things that cannot be learned using this particular platform. So you need to understand like what can be learned and what cannot be learned. So things that can be learned, you can focus on and then try to understand the best out of it. For things that cannot be learned, you need to focus on the other means in order to gain knowledge on those areas. So that's about it in today's video. I hope you have learned something about like making use of Kaggle in order to learn data science, and what are all the various techniques and tips that can be useful in order to best use Kaggle in order to enhance your career or in order to enhance your data science knowledge. I hope you have learned something new. If you have learned something new, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And apart from various data science related topics, I also have a series about learning data science in 100 days, where I cover various data science related topics that are required in order to become a data scientist. So if you are looking forward to learn data science, like maybe look into that particular playlist and then try to see if it is useful for you. So that's it for now. See you in another video. Bye until then.